Remember the song on the Little Rascals? I forget the character. I think it was Butch when he was real little. Just young lovers
Lovers no
more.
more, just friends, never like before. We try to do the things, but we cannot stop pretending.
Oh man, you're killing me, man. You're killing me.
Welcome to the First 40 Sports Show with the squad. It's Black Door, Ice Water, and Puma. And we're going to talk about college basketball right now. I was sending Ice some text, and I was like, looking at games last night and throughout the week. We've been off for about 2 weeks, so we might talk about some of the stuff that happened in the last 2 weeks. But I'm like, this is the most unpredictable. I mean, for the last few seasons being unpredictable because it seems like the top five teams keep really kind of moving position. I thought Arizona got hosed last night by BYU on a call that really wasn't supposed to be a call. But I'll go to Black Door first. You've been watching any college basketball. I know it's February, coming in March. Let's go, man.
Yeah, man. I'm disappointed in myself, man. That I'm a three-time champion, and I really haven't been able to kind of watch like I wanted to. Usually by now I'm kind of locked in. So now I'm a yield my time to Brother Ice because I know you two been, like you said, you two been texting and doing all this, watching the
I
games.
texted one time.
I'm gonna say, I heard some chatter word S on this, so I'm gonna yield my time because folks want to hear what you two are talking about.
That includes you.
Damn right about that one. Hey, don't pick no. Let me see your hands, bro. I'm like the police, not the police. Police. I'm like the police. Let me see your hands, bro. Keep your hands up at all times. You making me nervous. Let me see your hands. Put your hands where I can see them. Anyway.
I'm looking at a lot of a team that surprised a lot of people, and they're ranked number 2 right now is Florida out of the SEC. I thought the team was going to be Alabama. They're kind of rocky. I'm still not trusting Auburn, even though I like the way they play. I like how they handle things. It's just I'm not trusting them. And then Houston. Houston is, trying to come up. They're ranked number 5 right now. The polls come out on Tuesday, so that may change. One of the teams that really surprised me is Iowa State. Iowa State kind of fell on some hard times. I've been talking about St. John's. St. John's has they beat UConn again this season. And I don't care what anybody says. Rick Pitino is one hell of a coach. I watched him when they first played UConn in the first game, and they were down like 14. And usually they try to take the cameras into the huddle, and Rick Pitino was like, no. Cuss them out. And they came back and won that game. So what are some of the things that you're seeing in college basketball right now?
Well, I wanted to be prepared today, so I did watch St. John's defeat UConn. And I watched how St. John's really jumped out on them. They play strong defense. They have shooters. And Rick Pitino, they are really, literally, they're part of what look like Rick Pitino's personality is. Yep. They come at you real hard. They have no fear. And UConn is the 2-time defending champions. But I think the thing is with UConn is the talent is there, but they don't have the playmakers, the guys that take over like the other 2 teams did. It has nothing to do with the talent. When you look at them, you go, oh man, they big, they're talented all the way around, they can shoot a jumper, but it's just something about this team, and I'm not sure, and I think that's why they've had the losses. It's not that Curley's not coaching well. I think it's just that it factor, and it comes down to chemistry. Some guys have been there before, like another 2 teams, but this team, I just don't see that right now. So they're not number 1. So they're going to fall. They fell off a little bit, some bumps and bruises. But I will say this, though, that I think this year in this tournament in college hoops, we used to say you got to have a strong veteran backcourt, right? Got to have good guards. And we already said that. But now I think it's even deeper than that because so many of these teams that you mentioned earlier that are decent or pretty good, they have good guards and they have nice bigs. So it's a combo. It's a nice combo. So you just come in with good guards and you don't have bigs. Perfect example is Purdue. Purdue last year, because of Edey and the guards could shoot, They ran all the way up until, till they ran into UConn, right? Basically, a team like that, or was it Houston, whatever. One of those teams up there that gave them some issues. They ran all the way through. But now that they don't have a big man like Edey, and they have a guy that plays, but he gets in foul trouble a lot, they're not as talented as you look at it. So I think those guards make a difference. I think chemistry is very important too. You're going to have some chemistry because when you think about it from the standpoint of, like, they have basically declared Duke untouchable almost. They put Duke right up there, going to be number one seed in the East, which they probably will be. And they talk about Cooper Flag is really a talented player, but they have some other players too. So they basically cemented them in one of those number one slots. And if they keep winning, that's what it's going to be. But I think what you got to look at, though, too, is there's really, to me, no number one, the top team in the country right now. As you mentioned all those teams before, there's some up and down stuff. But we got to look at it as some of the teams that have fallen down a little bit and maybe seated lower in the tournament could cause some real problems. And Black, throw write this down because I know you are, so I'm gonna help you out. I'm gonna give it to you already early, along with other people. So, like for instance, UConn, right? UConn could be ranked as from 4 to 9, right? 4 to 9, depending on where they are the rest of the thing. But the way that they play, because of the chemistry that they have and the talent they have, let's say UConn is the 9th seed. They win the first game, they could turn around in the second round and be playing number one Alabama. That's a hell of a game for Alabama, playing UConn. UConn can beat Alabama because they have the talent. So that's where you have to be very careful with these teams that are not as great as we see right now, but they have the team and the chemistry. Another team is, like, let's say, for instance, Gonzaga. We've been knowing them with Timmy and them, always been at the top. Let's say Gonzaga was a number 9 seed. Second round, they play number 1 Florida. You mean tell me you don't think Gonzaga can hang with Florida, possibly beat Florida? From that standpoint, and 2 other ones. Another team would be like Baylor was an 8 seed, and they ended up playing number 1 Duke. Baylor, because of the defense and the way they're playing in chemistry and their coach, is going to give Duke all that they wanted. And my last one on this, and I'm not going to say if they're 7 seed or whatever, you have to look out for a team like Maryland. Maryland has beat some very good teams. They play well. They play strong. They got a couple big guys. They got some young guys. So out of those 4 teams that I just mentioned, all of those groups, if they're in that second tier, it can cause some major problems, which is going to make the tournament great and crazy. And it's going to have people pulling their hair out because some of the teams that you thought was going to win a long way could possibly get popped.
Yeah, because I look at a team like Vanderbilt, and they've been knocking off a lot of good teams in the SEC. Whether or not they make the tournament or not, I'm not sure. But that's a team that, they've beaten teams that I didn't expect them to beat in the SEC. And they're a very good team. And so you're right, if you place them in the brackets in a very strategic, place, they could knock off some of the number 1 seeds and things of that sort, just like they've been knocking them off during the season. So, yeah, I wouldn't put that past them. Black, anything else before we go move on, man?
No, you guys are very informative. I feel like I'm somewhat catch up. I might need 1 or 2 more shows you guys talking about to kind of feel like I do my brackets. That's all.
Yeah, and even though I talked about BYU, they are a good team, good shooting team. They can hang with a lot of teams. But last night I thought Arizona got hosed with that last call because that guy who supposedly got fouled did not get fouled, and Arizona is supposed to win that by at least 1 point. Well, let's go to the NBA and talk about that. I'm gonna go back to you, Black. If you've been watching the NBA, your eye test, brother.
Yeah, I have been kind of catching some of the NBA. Kind of basically. And what I found myself doing was watching teams I probably wouldn't ordinarily watch, like the Wizards, some Orlando, some of these teams, just trying to kind of get a feel for basically what's kind of going on. And I will say this. I know that the ratings are down, but watching some of these other teams, the league is not as in a bad place as they might want to be, or we might perceive them are. I think there's some nice young talent. Just need to be groomed and kind of spend some time on. But with that being said, man, I must say this, man. I know, the Knicks made some changes. They brought in your boy, from Minnesota. They did all that to only get their ass spanked in Cleveland the other night, bro. That was embarrassing. That was embarrassing. I mean, that's just you. I'm sorry. You can't. Cleveland's one of the top teams in the East. You cannot go there and get beat that bad, man. You just can't. And we're going to see it get even worse, get a little closer towards the playoffs. I'm looking at OKC. They're doing their thing out there. Houston to me is kind of taking a step down, but I'm not surprised because they really aren't ready. I'm looking at Minnesota. I don't know what the hell is going on there. And I kind of like the trade that Dallas made without Anthony Davis. That team looked like it's a deserted island, bro. It looked like, it's a totally deserted island. So to me, the West is kind of jumble. It's not a lot of strength there. It's going to be a battle when it kind of gets close to the playoffs, but I'm not seeing a lot of strength there. In Boston, man, I'm not trying to raid on nobody for raid early, but if Porzingis stay healthy, there's no way in the world they're not winning another championship. There's no way if he stays healthy.
While we were out, there've been some trades. Jimmy Butler goes to Golden State. They're 5-1 since he's been there, and I kind of called that maybe a few weeks ago, saying this is their last hurrah. So I read an article about Draymond Green when they found out they were getting Jimmy Butler and how Steph Curry reacted. And basically, Steph Curry kind of reacted like, this is our last run. Because if we're getting a veteran player like that, then this is it for us. We got to do whatever we need to do to try to win this year. And then you hear Draymond during All-Star break talk about how we're going to win a championship. They feel like they can win every game that they're in. And you can't argue with it with the 5-1 record.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, there's a lot of people that do not like Jimmy Butler, and I get it. A lot of naysayers, people don't like him. But the dude can play, man. If he want to play, he can play. Like I said, I thought he was going to end up somewhere crazy like Denver, but he ends up in Golden State because they couldn't get Durant. And I understand that. But the dude is a player. And I think Miami was better off because they had just reached that point, right? Where, it was like the teacher telling you, you're not going to dispute my word. You better listen in class. My boy was like, I helped y'all for 6 years, but we've been in the mix. And we've been close. Because you think about it, they made the finals twice, and they made, 4 Eastern Conference final playoffs chances, so appearances. So they've been there. So I get that. I think that's what it was. And he happy, man. When Jimmy Butler happy, shit happens. It does. Especially, call that pompous, call him arrogant, call him a punk, whatever. But when it's happy, he won the best in the league, even at this age. And it's to the point where Golden State literally needs somebody like that. And now, granted, Wiggins is amazing. Wiggins can play, but you need somebody that's hungry. And I ain't saying they're going to win it all, but I think you just look at it from that standpoint. But getting back to your point about Boston, man, I watched them today against the Knicks, and Boston is a well-oiled machine. And most importantly, it's kind of like championship teams. You look at Denver, the 2 years they won it. They have players that know their role, right? They know their roles. It's similar to like I talked about the chemistry earlier about in college basketball. So when a star player on Boston struggles, the other guys are capable of carrying the load. What I mean by that, you look at White, you look at Pritchard, you look at Hauser coming in off the bench, Porzingis. Whatever it is, when these dudes, the star dudes are down, Brown having a bad day, it don't even matter. They just, bloop, oh, we got you. When you get yourself together, somebody else's time to step up, we got it covered. We have enough talent and we know what to do. We're going to win. Like I was watching White today. Man, he was killing the Knicks. He wasn't scoring a bunch of points, but he was always on a loose ball. He bring the ball up. He throw the ball at the right point. He get the ball. He right shot at the right time. I'm like, dude, all in transition. I said, no wonder these dudes is good. Porzingis the same way. Come in there, get in the lane, boom, boom, boom. You go, oh my God. So I think that's what it is when you have teams that have players like that, and they just know what to do. But I don't know. I just look at it. There's a lot going on. I think it's going to be very interesting. I love Detroit. Well, Detroit is number 5 right now. Number 6 in the East. Philly's number 12, bro. Talk to me about something.
Yeah, they're
Philly
1-9 in their last 10, man.
Philly number 12. And let's switch over to that West real quick. So besides OKC, everybody else below them, I think in that top tier is going to be quite interesting. Say what you want to, because that wild card player in 7, 8, 9, and 10 in the West, Minnesota, Dallas, with Anthony Davis coming back, Golden State now, and whoever else. It could be a problem.
Yeah, because I'm looking at teams in the West that kind of slowed down. The Timberwolves 5-5 in their last 10. Mavericks 5-5 in their last 10. The Houston Rockets 3-7 in their last 10. And if you go to the East, you have Philly 1-9 in their last 10. The Raptors, they're out of it. Hornets, Wizards, they're out of it. But the Nets kind of picking up with 7-3 in the last 10. The Bulls, they're kind of fading with the trade they made. They're 2-8 in the last 10. I thought the Hawks would be in there because they were playing pretty strong. They're at number 9. The Heat 3-7 in the last 10. But one of the things that really hurt my heart, Black, is that Wembley, the sensation out of San Antonio, out for the year and with a shoulder issue. And because I was really looking for him and Fox and CP3 to kind of get together and kind of figure something out to kind of try to make a run. But it's just sad to see we're looking for new stars in the NBA and he goes down. And it's like, wow, will he ever recover from this? Because he's out for the year.
Yeah, that was a blow right there, man. That was a blow for the city young man. As you start to kind of think what other kind of injuries and stuff he might experience in the future. But yeah, that's a big blow for the franchise itself. That they put a lot into him. I never liked Chris Paul being there, honestly speaking. And then it come out basically now that rumors are that some words I shouldn't say rumors that Greg Popovich may not be coming back next year. He might be basically walking away. So that franchise is kind of in flux a little bit when you think about it.
Ice, your thoughts on Wembley being out for the year? Big blow. Big blow.
Yeah, it is a big blow, but truth be told, it's like some conspiracy theories going on. Like they say he hurt, but is he really that hurt where he can't play? Because San Antonio trying to get another pick, dog. So you look at it from that standpoint. Whatever they give, they keep losing or don't do well. They get in that lottery. You give them another guy to go Wemby run. Let's just say you throw a Cooper Flag in there, you come out, play with them, wherever they decide, whoever it is, man. Or somebody one of the big boys from Auburn come out or whatever. You never know. They getting that one of those top slots. They ready made. And Fox, even if Paul retires, they right in the mix, bro. So I'm sad that it happened, but for San Antonio, I'm like, y'all wasn't gonna win anyway. So you probably better off. You let him rest and let him get better. So you get one of them picks. Hey, you think they're gonna be even better next year?
All right, so let me stick with you with a quick hitter.
What did you think at all? Anything about the NBA All-Star game? Anything?
Black.
I mean, I didn't even watch it, man. I mean, I couldn't even bring myself to. I turned and was watching some movies and stuff like that. I couldn't. I think I sent what's the name was him was saying that the NBA All-Star doesn't have any leaders. It really doesn't. If you think about it, these guys want to show up and play around. You got guys want to wait till the last 2 hours to say I'm not playing. It's a mockery, man. It's a mockery. And until this owner, not the owner, this commissioner, stop being friends with them, it's going to continue. You got to stop basically looking at them and make them realize it's a freaking business. People basically want to pay. They want to be entertained. It's a joke. It's a mockery. Now, I saw some highlights from the slam dunk contest. I thought that was pretty good. But the All-Star game, they're better off playing ice hockey, man. Playing little table hockey because it's a joke, man. And don't even have it. I mean, it's a time for parties and all stuff. What's wrong with your BS, man? I just don't get it. I mean, then you got players out there. It's the same cats every single year. You got players that don't even play the majority of the year, but yes, they're an all-star. How the freak is that happening? I'm tired. I don't want to go in there and watch, Durant anymore. I'll be honest with you. Curry missed a lot of games. Come on, man. Let's get real, bros. You got players out there that's balling. They can't even smell an all-star game. It's time. But here again, I like the commissioner. It's time to be a commissioner, man. It really is. And tell these cats, if you're going to show up and play half-ass, I don't care what kid vote for you, you're not showing up. If you're going to come with that mentality, you're not going to play. Simple as that. We'll put your name on the board. You got elected, so what? Leave it there.
I think you sent me the video of Brendan Haywood, and he talked about each All-Star, the major guys kind of gave the trophy or gave the mantle of taking pride in the East or the West to the next generation. And they were saying how LeBron hasn't done that because Kobe had it before that, Larry Bird and Magic had it. You had these rivalries. You had these folks who would go up against each other, but you have now. It seems like everybody's friends now. And it's like I was watching Eisman, I think, on one of the sports channels, and he was like, the NHL has figured it out. When they had their all-star break or whatever, and they had the four nations, and you had the U.S. and Canada in the first 9 seconds, 3 fights. He said they figured it out because it was the buzz. Nobody was really thinking about hockey until they saw the fights and like, yeah, this is what we want. And basically, he was like, it wasn't just the fights, but it let the public know that we care, that the players care just as much as we care. And you don't feel that way with this All-Star game. Like the players really care about the game as much as we do. And when they don't do it, then why should we even care about it if you don't really care about the game? The slam dunk contest, I didn't watch any of it. Quit bringing in these cars and these mascots and jumping over. Just do a simple dunk. Just do dunks. Just show your athleticism. You gotta jump over the car and jump over the mascot and just do. I'm looking for the dunks that you would do in the game. Do them at this All-Star dunk contest. I don't need all the frills with this. And they keep bringing the little dude from the G League to win the league. And none of these other guys are in the contest that can dunk, but none of them are in the contest. They take no pride in it. They don't care. So why should we?
Wow. No, I'm with you on that. I mean, I think that when I looked at it, I was really blown away because I'm like, I don't know, I'm not gonna watch it. That Celebrity All-Star game, nothing. Because like you said, they don't care. The only time that I kind of, if I did enjoy it a little bit was, and then I was first skeptical when they broke them down into 4 teams, 4 squads. And I knew that the younger guys, the G League dudes, wouldn't have no chance in hell. But watching the OGs, it was almost as if they really did give a damn. They cared a little bit because everybody else, you talked about the Joker, you talked about Wemby being on the same squad, kind of like an international flavor, and they came with it. But them OGs was like, it was almost like having United States versus the world. You know what I'm saying? It was like USA versus the world. They was like, because Curry was like, nah, hell nah. And even my boy Kyrie, I was like, damn, Kyrie looked like he about 17. Threw a two-hand, caught a two-hand catch off the glass and dunked it. I was like, now this is what I'm talking about. But it was too late to, but it seems as if they really wanted to win. Steph Curry was shooting half-court jumpers. I was like, damn. And they really took it on themselves to go, we really care. We really want to win. And it's sad that we can't get that for the whole game. But as you mentioned, unfortunately, if you do land at LeBron's feet with the All-Star game, the problem is he's more of a friend and a get-along guy. Like I mentioned, you go back watch that 71-72 game in L.A., bro, it was like, it's about blood. And they were mad as hell. And I say one last thing about the whole weekend. You think about the dunk contest. I mean, I ain't mad at Mac McClung. Mac McClung, dude, if you don't do nothing else, go watch the one where he jumped over the car, bro, and he dunked it backwards.
Yeah, I saw that.
Car, almost hurt himself, whatever. It was an amazing feat that he could do it. My point with that is being said. These athletes today are pompous. They think they're better than anybody else. And one thing I will say, you say we old school, we old as hell, I'll be that. There is nothing like watching a young or in his prime Dominique Wilson versus Jordan. That will last forever. People's kids is going to be watching that going, that was amazing. So these dudes now want to come out and Morant and all these other dudes want to act like they might, but don't nobody care. You should want to do it for the fans, for everybody that buys your damn jerseys, buys your shoes, keep your brain going. You should want to entertain them.
They don't want it. They don't care.
I mean, but they should, because that's when you become an icon, bro. Real quick, I don't know if y'all saw that little thing they doing about documentary about Go for the Gold. They had Kevin Durant in there. People really talk about him. But he said when he was at the Olympics, and he says he's so used to just people not giving a damn. He said, but he looked up in the crowd and he saw people coming from all over the world, bringing their kids and their family, traveling to watch their best player. And he says, how can I not really care? And then he said he realized at that point how big this game was, how important it was to a lot of people, and how people, despite people may say the ratings are down, how many people really loved it. And he said he realized too what the game had done for him, man. And dude got emotional. He said, man, this shit saved my life. He said, my family is all, we come from some messed up situations. And he goes, without this game, where would me and my family be? Dude said, I'm sorry, but it's real. He said, so where would I be without this shit? And I was like, man, you know, if no other time, if I didn't like that dude, he was honest about that shit. Because you ever been to Southeast DC, bro? You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Real talk. And for him to have that moment, said a lot about who that dude is. Now, what he do the rest of the year and everything, I don't know. But at that moment, dude was brutally honest about his life. What else would he have done if he not played basketball?
Shouts out to my folks in Southeast DC.
No doubt. All love. I've been, look, hey, you already know. Howard, look, the penthouse, all that shit.
I believe Ballou High School, where my ex used to go to. So
hey, Southeast DC, Northeast, all DC. I love DC.
Yeah, they DC. Black, before I go to you, I wanted to talk about the slam dunk contest. It reminds me of a friend of mine from Nigeria. He would see women dancing and twerking and all that, and he was like, "Oh, that's all well and good, but can they do it under the pressure? Can they do it under the pressure?" And that's how I feel about the dunk contest. Can you do all those fancy dunks without a car and all that stuff under the pressure of a game? You're a quick hitter, man.
Yeah, my quick hitter is going to be a little different, man. Dickie Vick Vitale, somebody may not love him. You may not be a big fan of his, but the mere fact that man had a chance to come back and broadcast the game, he's been battling 2 different types of cancer in his mid-80s, and that's remarkable among itself. And another name, man, that never been out there that much, but he broadcast his last game, I think it was last week, Hubie Brown. You think about all the years Hubie Brown and what he's meant to basically commentating and coaching basketball. He's seen some great players, man, great players, and I think he did his last. I like the tribute they did for him that night. He was doing his last game. Those two, man, when you think about college and NBA broadcasting and coaching, how can you not think of those two gentlemen?
Every time I listen to Hubie, I learn something. That's you can't get any better than Hubie when commentating the game, and so blessed to hear him over the years. Last second shot, Ice.
Yeah, last second shot. Want to give another shout out to my dog. Let's get it. Ohio State Buckeyes, national champions. Y'all can see Mr. Smith going to get ready again to get it done. What's really weird to me is they won a championship and state of Ohio is buzzing again. I like that too. So we are talking about today is we're getting into the end of February. Spring practice start March 17th, baby. Just keep rolling. Just keep rolling.
Black?
My last second shot go to Jalen Hurts, man. I mean, this cat from a lot of times takes criticism. I remember going back today in Alabama, he got yanked out of a game, a championship game, and got replaced, and the team went on to win. But he handled it well, man. The next year he went on to play for, I think it was Oklahoma. But he comes to the NFL with no balloons, nothing of that nature. But think about it. He's been in 2 Super Bowls in the past 3 years. And when they really need him, he steps up and plays well. I love the fact that he's humble. He basically, doesn't care what anybody says about him. He does his job. Very mature. And for me, man, I look around and I think about years ago, we were crying out for black quarterbacks, man. Crying out for them. Just basically, NFL, give us black quarterbacks. We got a bunch of good ones now. He's leading the pack, in my opinion.
My last second shot goes out to Keyshawn Davis, the boxer who just won a championship. Now, the backdrop to that particular fight is that the Ukrainian fighter allegedly sent over a box of bananas and watermelon over to his hotel room. And Keyshawn Davis addressed it during the press conference. He says, "I'm going to kick your ass." And he did that and took his title.
Wow.
Kudos, young man. And is he ready for Tank yet? Ice text me. I don't know, but he will have a place in my heart for doing that, because that was totally disrespectful. And I'm not saying all Ukrainians think that way, but that Ukrainian did, and he learned a valuable lesson. Got his ass whooped and his title took. That's our show. We'll see you next time.